Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's good? And so, in this audio slash video, right, I'm going to be giving you guys 6 reasons why dating advice won't work for you. Because, I get a lot of emails from dudes, from chicks. I see a lot of stuff on the internet where people, they're like, yo, this dating advice, or even some, I hear a lot with the PUA stuff, the pickup artist stuff. They're like, oh, all this stuff is a scam, it doesn't work, and all this other stuff. So, I'm not a PUA, by the way. I'm just, pointing that out, that a lot of people talk about the PUAs like that. But, I'm a dating coach, and even with dating advice or self-help advice in general, people are like, oh, it doesn't work, this and this and that, right? So, but what I'm going to say in this audio specifically, 6 reasons why the dating advice that you're getting is not working for you. All right. Because it's not really the advice. And what's going on is it's how you are applying the advice that you get. Right. So I'm going to do this in no particular order of importance. I'm just going to, count down or count up or whatever you want to call it. Right. So first thing is, the reason why dating advice isn't working for you is because you have unrealistic expectations. All right. You have unrealistic expectations. So basically what that means, a lot of dudes out here, you got dudes who are virgins, dudes who never really talk to girls, dudes who, don't have a lot of experience interacting with women. And they think that, they're going to watch one video or read a book, or, take some course tomorrow. And then, by, next week, they're going to be the master at, picking up chicks. You understand? So the thing is, these guys actually, listen to these videos, or they'll read one book, and then they'll be like, oh, this dating advice doesn't work because I tried to talk to 2 women last week and they both rejected me. So this shit is bullshit. Do you understand? So they have unrealistic expectations. They've never talked to a girl before. They read a book on Monday, tried to pick up 2 girls on Tuesday, and now they're saying it's bullshit. This is what I'm saying. They have unrealistic expectations. And the thing is that what happens is a lot of these dudes get fooled by the marketing that goes into dating advice and all this other stuff. They're like, hey, buy this book and, and say these 3 magic words and girls will fuck you tomorrow. You understand? So they get that type of information and they believe that stuff. And the next thing you know, that gives them that unrealistic expectation. And when things don't turn out, they say, oh, this stuff isn't working out, right? So the first one is, you have unrealistic expectations. Now, the second thing is you don't believe what you're learning can work for you. You don't believe what you're learning can work for you. This is why the dating advice isn't working for you, because you don't believe that it will actually work. So a lot of dudes, they'll hear some dating advice, they'll hear some things about picking up girls and getting with chicks and everything, and they'll be like, oh, but I'm too ugly, I'm too poor, I'm this, I'm that, girls don't like me. So it's like they already have that in their head. So they believe that, the advice will never work for them. So they're basically defeating themselves before they even try anything. So, since they don't believe it's going to work, when they actually do try it, if they even try to do it, and they see that they got rejected, or they see that, this girl they wanted wasn't really into them, they start to say, oh, well, this stuff doesn't work. And they'll go back to the whole, oh, it's because I'm ugly, because I'm this, and because I'm that, right? But the thing is that they didn't really believe that they can actually do it. So when they're actually, talking to these girls and making stuff happen, then things aren't going to go the way they want to, because they already are coming from the belief that it's not going to work, and they bring that energy to the interaction. You feel what I'm saying? So that's number 2, is that you don't believe that it's going to work for you, right? Now, number 3 is you don't apply what you learned. Right? You don't apply what you learned. So I know a lot of dudes, right, who basically will read a book on, dating, how to get girls, or watch a lot of videos, and they'll learn a lot of good shit. They'll learn a lot of stuff. but they don't go out there and apply it. They don't go out there and practice it, because the thing that you got to understand about, dating advice and, actually being successful in dating is that the stuff that you're learning is basically sort of like a blueprint. It gives you a guide on what to do. It gives you pointers on, what to make happen, here and there. Right. But when you are actually going out there and, and talking to girls and having those interactions, what's going to happen is that you're going to sort of take what you learned, apply it, but then make it your own. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to basically make that, turn it into your own style. You understand? So it's kind of like, someone can teach you how to fight. You understand? Or like karate or some type of martial arts or whatever. But the way that you move your body this way and that way is going to probably be sort of different than how another guy moves his body this way and that way, depending on your height, depending on the reach of your arms, whatever it is, because now it's being, it's what you've learned, you're applying it to you, which is the individual. Right. So the thing that guys got to understand when it comes to dating advice is not this one size fits all thing. You have the basic principles that you learn, and then you apply that to when you're having interactions with women. Like, for example, I know this dude who me and my boy used to go out or whatever. We used to see this dude, and he was a short guy, maybe like 5'2", 5'3" or whatever. Right. So, he was learning how to talk to girls and pick up girls, whatever. So what he would do is he would incorporate, talking about his height within his game. You understand? So he would bring it to the forefront. He would, basically play around with the chicks and tell them like, oh yeah, you know what they say about short guys, we got bigs, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would just be talking about that, and he have the girls laughing and flirting with him or whatever. And he would, get chicks because he was able to incorporate, things about him that will make, him get more success. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you got to incorporate what you have in order to do that. And the thing is that you're not going to be able to do that and incorporate what you have if you don't, go out there and apply what you learn, because you basically, you'll learn more about the game once you're in this situation, because you're going to learn more about yourself and how you interact and how you feel in those situations, how you come across. You're going to learn more by actually doing it. You can only, when you're just reading a book and when you are just watching a video, you understand, it gives you a guide, but you still have to go out there and do it and make it happen, right? So number 3 is you don't apply what you learned, right? Now, number 4 is you don't study the game. You don't study the dating game. So basically, you can't just read one book or, watch a video here and there, because what's going to happen is that you're going to forget a lot of stuff, right? Like, there's this dude on YouTube. His name is Corey Wayne, or Coach Corey Wayne, or something like that. He has like a lot of videos on dating and stuff. And what I liked about his videos is I noticed that in a lot of his videos, he urges the people to buy his book. And he always says, you should be reading my book at least 10 to 15 times. Right. And the reason why he's saying that is because he's saying you need to make sure you get the information in your head to where it's almost like you sort of memorized it. It's like second nature to you, where this stuff, the information. So basically, it's like you're studying that game. You're implementing it into, your being. You're like, okay, I know this information so well, so that I won't make these mistakes again, so that I will know what I'm supposed to do, right? And when you study the game, you basically refresh your mind on, what you should and shouldn't be doing. You understand? But a lot of dudes don't really study the game. They're sort of like just, checking it out here and there. They're not really immersing themselves into it. So when things happen and opportunities arise, they don't know what to do because they haven't been studying the game. You understand? And then that's how the dating advice doesn't work for them. Right? So number 4 is you are not studying the game. You don't study the game, right? Number 5 is there's something off with your technique. There is something off with your technique. right? So this is the part where a lot of dudes just really have a lot of trouble with. And this is why a lot of times, when you take this advice, it doesn't work for you because there's something off with how you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, or something off with how you are applying the advice. You understand? So for example, I was watching this video the other day, and it was this dude, and he was basically saying like, oh, he's like, I don't pick up women anymore because, I tried it out and I've talked to a lot of women, and, no girls wanted to get with me, and I didn't get any dates. I talked to a whole bunch of girls, and he was basically saying that he, read a lot of the PUA material, and he's like, oh, none of this stuff works and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. So he's basically saying, all this advice is just not working. Right. So I'm watching a video, and I'm actually looking at the comments of the video as I'm watching, and I'm scrolling down to the comments, still listening to the video. And a lot of people were saying, they're like, oh, it's because he's ugly. Because the dude, he was like this short kind of like dude with, I think he had like a lazy eye or something like that. And so, people were just like mainly saying that, it was because he wasn't the best looking guy. Right. But I'm watching it, and I'm listening, and I'm waiting to hear, I was wondering, I'm like, it gotta be more than just, the look thing, because I've seen dudes who look way worse than him, and I know dudes personally who he looks better than get chicks. So I'm like, it's not just that, right? So I'm listening to what this guy's saying. Then there was a certain point in the video where I knew, when he said this, I was like, I knew it. It's, and what he said had to do with his technique, because he's basically saying, I went up to a whole bunch of girls, I'm talking to them, blah, 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 blah. And then midway through the video, he says something like, he's like, I feel like I'm creeping out these girls, and, I feel like I'm being creepy. So, I'm just going to stop. And as the video goes on, he says, I just want to apologize to all the girls who I made feel uncomfortable by me approaching them and all this stuff. So when he said that, I knew that was the basically the main reason why he wasn't really getting any chicks. See, the thing is, his technique was off. And what was off about his technique was that he believed that he was being creepy talking to women. He thought it was something not good. He thought that it was bad to talk to women, which is why he was apologizing to them, because he thought that he was making them uncomfortable. See, and what happens is part of the technique of actually approaching women and talking to them is one of the things is you have to be comfortable talking to them, and you have to be comfortable with the fact that you're talking to them and not see it as something wrong. Because if you see it as wrong, you are not going to you're either not going to talk to them, or if you do talk to them, you're going to be bringing off the energy that it's a wrong thing to do. And then that's not going to get you the chicks, because you're going to be, self-sabotaging yourself on a subconscious level and making yourself not appear attractive to these girls in order to really get them. Because to get them, or to try to even make that happen in the first place, he thinks it's creepy. He thinks it's wrong. You understand? I remember I was at the seminar one time, and it was talking about, one of those seminars talking about how to get rich and, make a lot of money and all this other stuff. And the dude that was, throwing the seminar, it was this rich dude. And he was basically saying, he was like, he asked the people, he was like, hey, do you think that money is the root of evil? Or if you think that rich people are bad, he was like, if you think any of these type of thoughts, like money is bad and rich people are bad and they're all scammers and all this other stuff, he's like, there is no way that you're going to become rich. Right? He's like, you have to actually believe that money is good. You have to actually not have that thought that, rich people are assholes or whatever. You understand? Because he said if you do have those thoughts that it's bad and these rich people are assholes, you can't become rich, because what's going to happen is that since you think it's bad to get money or to be a person with money, then you are going to end up being a person without money, because you don't want to be that bad person. Right? You don't want to be that asshole. You don't want to be You don't want to have money because it's the root of evil, right? You understand? So the thing is, you have to change your thinking in order to propel yourself to get the certain type of results. The same exact thing was happening with this guy, which is why every time he was approaching girls and all this other stuff, it wasn't working, because in the back of his head, he thought that he was creeping girls out and being creepy, and that is wrong. You understand? So, that's and that's where his technique was off, because part of having your technique be tight is to understand that, being comfortable around women and talking to women is part of the game. You understand? There's even other situations where, certain guys, their technique is off, meaning like they'll talk to girls, but they don't really know how to transition from, just small talk into actually like flirting or being sexual. They don't know how to close the deal. So it's like little things like that are off. They don't really know how to make that tight and get that happening. You understand? So the thing is that if a person is giving you dating advice and they're telling you, hey, you got to approach, a lot of women. You got to, flirt, get a little sexual with them, whatever, and all this other stuff. If you're following that advice, but you don't feel right about doing that, it's not going to work for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or if you are following the advice half-heartedly, like if you're just talking to girls and you're just, you're talking to them, but you're just sort of being friendly, you're not really stepping it up a notch to actually get flirty and flirtatious and sexual, then you're not going to come across as a guy who is trying to make something happen. You feel what I mean? So the technique is important, right? And the reason why the advice is not working for you is because there is something off with your technique. Okay. Now, the last reason why dating advice won't work for you is because you give up too quickly. You give up too easy. So like earlier when I was talking about how dudes have unrealistic expectations, what happens is that they, end up talking to one girl here, one girl there, and then they talk to maybe a total of 4 girls, and then all of them rejected them. And so they give up. They're like, oh, this shit doesn't work. It's not going to work for guys like me. I talked to 4 women and it just hasn't happened for me. So it doesn't work. You understand? So they give up. And then, nothing happens if you're going to give up, right? So the thing is, you got to stick with it. You have to stick with it, study the game, learn more, work on your technique, and not have these unrealistic expectations. And then things are going to work out better for you. You understand? So it's about, keeping at it, doing what you got to do to really switch up the stuff that isn't working and seeing other stuff that will work, and by you continuing to study the game and making these things happen for you. See, this dating advice stuff is not going to work for you if you are doing any of these things. If you are sitting here, having unrealistic expectations, if you don't believe in yourself, if you, don't apply what you're learning, if you don't study the game, if you don't work on your technique, and if you give up, it's not going to work for you. You feel me? So guys, if you have any questions, make sure you click the link below and send me your questions. Also, make sure you join badboymembership.com so that you can study the game and you can you can basically step up your game so that the dating advice that you do get will work for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you gotta really stick with it, stay on top of it, and make that happen. You feel me? So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm out of here. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone.
All right, now before you click off this video, I need you to do 3 quick things. First, I need you to click the link below to send me your questions, because if you have any questions, I'll answer them in a video. 2, click the link under that to get my free ebook, The Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men. It gives you 10 tips on how to attract beautiful women. And number 3, I want you to click the link under that to go to badboymembership.com, where you get 45 through 90-minute audio and video tutorials every month. Hey, what's up? It's dating and life coach Mr. Locario. Go to badboymembership.com and master the dating game by joining my Bad Boy Membership program. In this program, you'll receive 45 through 90-minute, easy-to-follow, step-by-step dating advice tutorials that's guaranteed to help you attract, date, and have sex with beautiful women. Join the Bad Boy Membership today by going to badboymembership.com. That's badboymembership.com.